Welcome into our NFL Roundtable for Week 3. This week, I'm joined by two Action Network colleagues, Evan Abrams, our Director of Research and Media. You can hear every Monday morning on our NFL Recap episodes. And joining him, our very special guest, Stuckey, the Prime Minister of Degenerate Nation, co-host of our weekly Sunday Six-Pack with Chris Raybon, also Big Bets on Campus, the podcast in the college football world, college basketball, and just a million other things at Action Network. Brendan Glasheen in the host chair. We have a lot to get to. Stuck, I've called this show, this isn't official, it's unofficial, but like it's weekly therapy. It's early in the week. Tuesday, Wednesday's kind of our slower time before we get to action in your case. But a chance to digest what we just saw and look ahead to the following week. So I'll go to you first, Stuck, since we haven't had you on the roundtable yet. Biggest takeaway from week 2 in the National Football League?
I'm going to say, I think Evan will have some numbers to put to this, but just the passing offenses way down. Just look at passing touchdowns through 2 weeks back in 2020 and 2021, 110 touchdowns throwing through the air over the first 2 weeks. I think we were at 65, 66 this year. I mean, it is way down. The quarterback play overall is, I think, significantly worse. Defenses have adjusted, especially with their coverage style, taking away explosive plays. I mean, watch that entire Chiefs-Bengals game as a perfect example. I mean, Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Every throw was at the line of scrimmage, seemingly, until the end. So, yeah, just running is almost becoming as efficient as passing. Your dad saying, run the damn ball, is everything is cyclical in the NFL. That's becoming more and more the case. So, yeah, just the overall passing offenses, quarterback play, the defense is adjusting. It's definitely obvious.
Half, Evan, of the rookie quarterback class. Of course, McCarthy's out for the year. May and Penix are still sitting, but the rookie class, as well as some other young quarterbacks, Bryce Young benched. We'll get to that in a moment. But numbers to back up Stuckey's point, even to a larger degree?
Yeah, like the passing touchdowns, I think there's like 69 so far. It's been really bad. Just a few numbers here. The last one I'll give to me, and I'm going to tweet this out in a little bit, it'll be at the head of my article, to me is probably the craziest. But through 2 weeks, we've had 29 quarterbacks throw the ball at least 20 times with under 200 passing yards. That's the most for any season since 2008 and the second most for any start to a season since 1990. Through 2 weeks, we've had 48 quarterbacks throw the ball 10 plus times with one passing touchdown or fewer. That's the most through 2 weeks, again, since that 2008. It's been a long time since we've just seen no offensive production, especially through the passing game, other than like Derek Carr. But in this situation, think about this. Through 2 weeks, only 17 of 64 quarterbacks have gone over 1.5 passing touchdowns. It's just, from a betting perspective, and the thing I was trying to look up pretty quickly, I'm pretty sure totals, yes, 17 and 14 to the under. So it's not impacting it. It's not 20 and 11 or something of that nature. So I think the lower totals are probably having an impact on that number a little bit. But the stat that I love is, so far during 2024, we've had 5 quarterbacks go for 300 plus passing yards. And we've had 4 teams had 300 plus net passing yards, and none of them have covered the spread. They're 0-4-1 at this point, and that's the first time since 1980 no team with 300 plus passing yards has covered in the first 2 weeks. It's just unbelievable, the terrible nature of passing. I think Gardner Minshew is the only quarterback to throw for 250 plus in the first 2 weeks. I don't know what else to say.
The passing touchdown leaders through 2 weeks are Baker Mayfield, Derek Carr, and Sam Darnold. Just like everyone predicted.
I think that's why situation matters. Also being in a bad division maybe matters too, but we'll see when those teams go head-to-head more often. Big news of yesterday, the Carolina Panthers have moved off Bryce Young as their starting quarterback. For now, who knows? The Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, named the starter for Week 3. Carolina taking on Vegas. Line opened at 7. It's down to 5.5. The Panthers have lost 10 straight first halves against the spread. You've already bet the full game line on Carolina +7. Evan, I saw your tweet yesterday. It has begun in following in the Action app. You can follow the line movement coming down 1.5. Under Bryce Young, the Panthers have failed in a way almost no modern NFL team has failed. This franchise was purchased for $2.2 billion. How do we handle the Panthers going forward here, Stuck? I know in your case you've already bet the 7, but your thoughts here with Dalton as the quarterback.
Just when I thought I was out, they reel me back in. And
real quick, Brandon Anderson has bet Carolina again to win the NFC South at 200 to 1.
You could burn that ticket. The Panthers, I had their season win total over. I thought they would be improved this year. I thought Bryce Young, under a new offensive coordinator, I mean, look at the Saints offense. They get a new offensive coordinator. They were one of the teams that ranked lowest in the NFL, along with the Panthers, in pre-snap motion and play action. So, in the Saints, their offense now under Clint Kubiak looks like a rocket ship. Panthers, bring in Dave Canales, new offensive coordinator, figured they would use a lot more play action, pre-snap motion, move Young around because he is undersized. They did upgrade all the pieces around him. The offensive line is better. They upgraded at center. They signed 2 really good guards. They had decent tackles. If you look at the metrics, the offensive line, from pass block perspective, is playing pretty well. They upgraded their wide receiver room. But Bryce Young not only didn't improve in his second year, which is hard to do because he was so bad. Last year, I think he had a 33 QBR, which was second worst in the league among qualified quarterbacks, only ahead of Zach Wilson. He's around 33. This year, he's at 8. 8. He was unplayable. This had to be done. You weren't going to win any games with him. Your defense also isn't very good. That's why I don't think they're a threat to win the division. And the Bucs look better than I thought. The Saints are obviously going to be much better, and the Falcons are pretty good too. The Panthers' defense is not any good, and you lost Derek Brown, your best player up front. I do like their coordinator, but you need to score. You're not going to win games 3-0. This isn't a dominant defense. In fact, it's a sub-average defense. So I think this is like a 2.5 to 3 point upgrade for the Panthers. It also is Adam Thielen blew up on the sidelines. Like you just couldn't keep sending Young out there, or you would have lost the team. So I think it had to be done, and I think I've been clamoring. I was tweeting about this last week. It's like you have to go to Darnold. So you have to go to Dalton. So I was happy that they did it. They're still going to be a really bad team, and as a result, I'm back on the Panthers this week. It's a really good spot. They're 0-2, both straight up and against the spread. Historically, those teams have fared very well. Raiders coming back across the country, and they, off that big upset win over Baltimore. The Raiders also can't run the ball, and the Panthers' run D last year was worse in the league. And like I mentioned before, they don't have Brown. So I think it's a pretty good matchup in a lot of ways. And they will get some form of competent quarterback play, which they just have never had with Young back there.
Zamir White of the Raiders held to 24 yards on the ground against Baltimore. And you mentioned the injuries. Burns traded in the offseason. Evan, anything to add there as far as Andy Dalton and the Panthers are concerned?
I mean, the line moved 1.5 points and the total moved 3 points based off the decision. The market told him exactly what to do, and he made it right. It was the right decision. I mean, even if you look since 2022 in terms of just total body of work, because that's a little bit easier when you look at Andy Dalton, 39 quarterbacks have had 500-plus plays. Bryce is 39th last in EPA per play. Dalton's 21st. Bryce is 39th last in success rate. Dalton's 11th. It's just an upgrade. So I bet the 7. I bet the 6.5. Under that, I don't think there's much to really do there in that game. And to Stuck's point with the Raiders, teams go EST to home, MST to PST in terms of the Raiders, 57 and 83 against the spread. So it is a tough spot for them.
Yeah, just to throw a couple more numbers out there. Young, 6 of 20 for 123 yards. 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions on throws, 10-plus yards downfield. On the season, his adjusted net yards per attempt, 1.1. I mean,
wow,
that is like Iowa levels. So it was bad. And just the bad picks. He wasn't reading defenses. He didn't look comfortable back there. He didn't look like he had any confidence. It was all bad. There was nothing. I unfortunately watched both of the first 2 Panthers games because I had money on them. Those are 7 hours I'll never get back in my life. But there wasn't one single thing that you could be like, okay, we can build off of this, or okay, I see that he improved in this. No, everything was worse, and I think his confidence was shot, and I don't think the team trusted him or believed in him anymore. It had to be done.
Believe it or not, Raiders Panthers total at 40.5. Not one of the 5 totals below 40 this week. Which one is your favorite of those games? Stuck, I'll ask you first. The games you have on the docket: Chargers at Steelers, Broncos at Bucks, Giants at Browns, Patriots Jets, Green Bay and Tennessee.
I would say, they're super low total, so the margin for error isn't great. But the Steelers are basically the way that they play. They're trying to basically catch the under for you, and same with the Chargers in a way. They want to just run the ball, and the Steelers are just spamming runs and short passes, and they're not running effectively, but they're just relying on their defense. So that's super low. At 37 or above, I would like that. Giants Browns is interesting. We'll see if there's any wind outside in Cleveland, but you have Daniel Jones against any type of pressure folds, and he folds like a cheap 10. I mean, his numbers are horrific, and the Browns are going to be able to man up their wide receivers, bring pressure against Jones. I don't know how the Giants are going to be able to move the ball. And the Giants have a pretty good defensive front that I think that they can get to Watson. And, their secondary isn't great, but it's not like Cleveland has the best wide receiver room in the NFL. And then, I think where that number is, that'd probably be my favorite of the group. But Green Bay, Tennessee. Look, last week, Green Bay, they didn't ask Willis to do much. It was a great game plan by LaFleur. I assume he's going to start again. There'll probably be rumors that maybe Love will come back, but I doubt that they rush him back this week. They just gave him all that money, and they got to win already with Willis. Right. So you're kind of playing a little bit with house money here. So I assume it's Willis again. What they did against the Colts is they just spam. I mean, it was like a service academy. I don't know how many times they've run the ball, 50-something times in that game. And the Colts defense is soft. They had all kinds of injuries up front. The Tennessee front 7 is really good. This is a Titans team that should be 2-0. You're not going to do that. They have 2 really good corners. I don't know how the Packers move the ball here. And the Tennessee offense, they'll probably put together a few drives, and then Levis will just give the ball away. So you just have to worry about the Titans punting unit. I mean, this is like a high school team. They get a punt blocked every week. So you have to worry about that. But I wouldn't. Sometimes with these low totals, I'll look for a reason to go over when they get too low, and the market, it seems to be coming really far down after some of the issues we talked about to kick off the show. None of these overs interest me. I think my favorite under would probably be that Browns Giants at current prices.
53 carries for the Green Bay backfield against the Indianapolis Colts. It's Dave Canales.
Oh, yep. Yeah, that's definitely Dave.
He's not happy with our commentary to this point. Well, actually, we're back in, so maybe he is pleased.
Yeah. Tim's calling up about Andy.
Evan, you want to touch on, you can weigh in on Giants and Browns as well. You have thoughts on Thursday night's game, New England at New York, the Jets.
Well, I'll just say this kind of as a blanketed term. There's 5 totals of under 40 All 5 of those totals have moved at least like 3 points south from their opener. So they're all falling very dramatically. I would say those 5 totals will go 3-2 or better to the under on the close would be a prediction from me. I think most of them feel right as the league is trending down in terms of passing, and especially that Charger-Pittsburgh game at 35.5, tied for the lowest total for the Chargers since 2006. And just for some like look around about how low that total is for them, this was what the Week 18 game was for them last year, 35.5, when you had 2 complete backups in. Now this is a Week 3 that, both teams are, 2-0. So completely different styles all around in that game. But I would agree with Stuck. I kind of like the Giants. That was the Giants-Browns one was going to be my pick. I also liked New England and the Jets, but it's gone to the 37.5. So I like the 38.5 with the Giants. I mean, Daniel Jones, 63% to the under in his career, and I believe it's like 10-2 last 2 seasons. Something of that nature. So I would probably go with that Browns-Giants game. Cleveland's defense, still top 10-ish EPA per play. They were amazing last year. And Watson, I don't trust at all either. And the Giants defense has been to start the year. So I think they get a little bit back on track. I go low scoring there.
Yeah. Think about some of these teams we just mentioned though. And the other thing, going back to the scoring point and why we have totals this low, think about all the new quarterbacks that have come into the league over the past couple of years. None of them look good. Besides Purdy, the last pick in the draft.
In Stroud.
And Stroud, obviously, yeah. Stroud is alone the real
against the Flores defense. He was confused as all confused could be. So he's
Yeah.
like a quarterback who look good or confused.
But listen, like some of the quarterbacks, both like over the first 2 weeks, you had Bryce Young, who couldn't complete a forward pass. Bo Nix, he can't complete a forward pass. All these teams, you have Malik Willis in there. All these teams look like triple option teams in college. We just mentioned 53 carries for the Packers. I mean, the Giants, Daniel Jones is cooked. Bo Nix, Bryce Young, Jacoby Brissett. I mean, the Patriots are basically like a service academy now, just trying to run, win with their defense, try to win 17-14. Justin Fields, it's just like, hey, throw it into the flat. We're going to run it 40 times and throw it deep 4 times to Pickens. Like, that's the game plan. Caleb Williams does not look great. His offensive line isn't helping him, but there's just such bad quarterback play, and these style of offenses have morphed into stuff that you only saw in college a couple years ago.
Here are the 5 starting quarterbacks in the NFL currently 0-2 against the spread. 2 we just talked about, Will Levis, Daniel Jones. You have Matthew Stafford, Lamar Jackson, and C.J. Stroud. I don't think you're going to pick Levis and Jones. Maybe I'm wrong, but pick one of those other guys Stuck to cover in week 3.
Yeah, I'm going.
Oh,
can you hear me?
Yeah, no. I said wait a minute because I think you are going to pick one of those 2 guys. I said
yes. I'm going with Stroud. I guess it depends on the number you got.
Yeah,
but we talk about the close. But he's the Texans. If you bet both of their games, depending on the number you got, they've been ultra sweats. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Will Levis. The Titans, he's cost them both games. I bet the Titans. I'd be having such a great NFL year if I didn't bet the Titans and the Panthers. I'm 0-4 betting those teams. And guess what? I bet them again this week. The Titans, I was watching that game last week. Yeah, I had never had such deja vu in my life. Levis had one of the worst turnovers you ever see. They had a lead. They were dominating the game. They had a punt blocked. And I believe the score was the same. I think they lost. Did they lose by the same score?
Because it was 17-0 at Chicago. And
yeah, 24-17.
With 17 against the Jets.
I mean, but this is a team that should be 2-0. They're 0-2, but they should be 2-0. They should have. I mean, they dominated the Bears, and they were the better team against the Jets. They just got killed by a couple. They turned it over on 3rd and goal. when Levis just had another brain fart. They got a punt blocked, and then at the end of the game, they didn't score inside the 10 again. Their defense is really good. They upgraded at corner. I like the new defensive coordinator. Came from the McDonald Ravens tree. I like some of the additions, like Sweat up front to pair with Simmons. They got him in the draft. Even bringing Ernest Jones to help your linebacker depth, that was a position of need. But this defense is legit. And I just mentioned the Packers. They're going to try to just spam run. And I don't think you can do that against this Tennessee front. And I think Tennessee will do enough at home offensively to get this win. So anything under 3, I like here. And you would just hope that they get their punts off, and Levis, once they get a lead, just take knees. Callahan mentioned it. Maybe he should have followed through. Would we just punted on first down? Yeah, you should have done that last week. Would have won.
Evan.
Yeah, this is actually a murderer's row of decisions for this week. So Levis is now up to 3, which he was going to be. It was all right. So to get to the end, it was going to be Titans or Ravens for me. But the Titans are up to -3 in a game with a total of 36. So not the best. As Doug said, I need 2.5 there. Ravens are in the Cowboys, and I don't exactly know what the heck is going on with Baltimore, but I feel like this is the get right spot for them, because I don't like Dallas at all this year. And I think their defense is absolutely porous, and I think Baltimore should be able to get the job done there. I like Stafford. I said on the pod on Sunday night, I like the 7.5, and then the Cooper Kupp news came down. So I don't know who they're going to be throwing the ball to, but, as someone said on Twitter, that game's an MRI machine. And Daniel Jones on the other side. Like, I don't know how I bet that in Cleveland. And Stroud, it's a tough one going up against that Minnesota defense, even, kind of young in his career, having to deal with Flores. So I'll go Baltimore or Tennessee. And Tennessee under 3 to me is probably the pick, as weird as that sounds, having to lay points to Will Levis.
Organic transition. We're going to talk Ravens-Cowboys this Sunday. Both teams coming off home losses, as we discussed. Saints over the Cowboys in Dallas, and then the Raiders beating the Ravens in their home opener. Dallas catching 1. There are some 1.5s out there, juiced to -120. Where will this line go by kickoff stuck? The Ravens visiting the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think this will bounce around a little bit. I think the Ravens will eventually close as a tiny favorite. But the Ravens they're my team. If you're listening and don't know, they have issues. But this is a spot that Harbaugh usually almost always wins in. But, coming into the year, I was a lot lower on Baltimore than I have been in quite some time. The amount of talent and expertise they lost on that staff, starting with Mike McDonald on the defensive end, just cannot be understated. And that is evident through 2 games. They're just not making the same adjustments. They're not as buttoned up across the board. I mean, you just let Gardner Minshew come back against you from down. You were up double digits in the fourth quarter at home against the Raiders, and they couldn't run the ball. You knew what they were doing, and you couldn't adjust. The offensive line has issues. I don't really know. Like, even the player personnel decisions are very confusing to me. I think they got the wrong guy in there at right guard. Like, I think it should be Ben Cleveland or maybe you put McCarr. They're still rotating right tackle. So the offensive line is just a mess. And defensively, what were they doing playing Malik Harrison in week 1? He's unplayable. Fortunately, they did bench him. He didn't play a single snap in week 2. Simpson played every snap, their linebacker. I'm getting in the weeds here, but some of the personnel decisions have been baffling to me, and the defensive staff is way down. The offensive line is definitely an issue. Derrick Henry doesn't have as much juice left in that tank as I thought he might have for one more year. So it's not pretty, but this is a game the Ravens usually win. I also should mention the biggest takeaway with scoring down. You know why scoring isn't down even more? This is a tangent, and this is the saddest thing for me to admit, because for the past decade on an NFL Sunday, I kick back, watch my bets, have the Ravens on as well, and I just would tweet auto when Tucker came out for a kick and would laugh at all the other kickers. It's like a college football Saturday. Now, Tucker, I think, is 1 of 7 his last 50-plus field goal attempts. Father Time, it's undefeated. No one else can miss a field goal. No one else can miss a field goal from 50-plus. It is insane. I've never seen this level of accuracy across the board in the NFL. That everyone is just. We had a 60. Wait, Aubrey had a 66-yarder outdoors in Cleveland. Was it 66 or was it 6? I think it was 66 outdoors.
He hit one from 66 in the preseason.
No, he hit one outdoors in Cleveland. It was 6. There was a delay of game though,
Yeah,
right? But he hit it, and then they were going to send him out for a 71-yarder. But yeah, it's insane the kicking. I don't know if we talk about this in the NFL. I mean, in Major League Baseball, juiced balls. I don't know. They got to get the scoring up somehow. They juice in these footballs to get the field goal rates up.
That's why the punting looks so good too. 35.
Besides the Ravens, this is like a nightmare for me.
Yeah.
The Ravens lost that Ravens
true.
and they shank a punt late, like a high school team.
At least the Bears punter looks good. But yeah, 35 of 39 from 50. Tucker has 2 of the 4 misses. It seems, unfathomable. Ridiculous.
Evan, is Baltimore closes a favorite Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, I was on the same page as Stuck. I don't like Dallas overall this year. I like Baltimore better. Obviously, there's something wrong in Baltimore and some of its scheme. I believe Henry had 1 carry in the fourth quarter of that game trying to ice a 10-point lead. I don't even know what to really say about that. But I think the spot is good for Baltimore. Lamar, 22-7 against the spread as a favorite of 3 points or less, or a dog. In all other spots, he's 23-33 ATS. And again, losing as a big favorite last week. So, yeah, I think Baltimore probably closes as the favorite.
We'll do 2 more topics before we go. I'm sure most of you have heard by now. This is more of a instant reaction Sunday topic, but I want to get your thoughts now with a few days to process. NFL underdogs of 6+ points or more are now 8-0 against the spread through 2 weeks, covering the spread by an average of 9.5 points per game. The best start for big dogs in recorded NFL betting history. Pick your favorite. Pick your favorite 6+ point dog this week. Stuck.
I mean, I want to bet the Broncos. I don't know if I'll get there. They can't move the ball. They should go to Stidham, but they're not going to yet this early. But the Bucks, I think, are being way overrated. I mean, they got dominated by the Lions last week. They gave up, I think, 260 more total yards in that game. They have injuries too on the defensive end, but can Denver take advantage? I don't know. The Rams might have too many injuries for my fancy. So I guess out of that list, I think you might see some regression this week. I think my prediction, what was that list?
New England,
5.
Giants.
I'll say those.
Denver,
I'll say the favorites.
Commanders.
My prediction, similar to Evans earlier, I'll predict those favorites go 3-2. But if I had to choose one, maybe I'd go with Washington. Their defense is horrendous. We'll see if T. Higgins plays, but it's like a running dog in that game because the Cincy run defense is a disaster. And, they lost DJ Reader in the offseason. Without DJ Reader last year, because he was hurt too at times, they were the worst run defense in the NFL. Well, now you don't have Reader, and now you have a myriad of injuries up front on your defensive line. They just can't stop the run. So Washington, with Daniel's legs, Robinson and company, they should be able to move the ball on the ground. You have you're over a touchdown too. So backdoor is a possibility. So I think the Bengals win that game, but there's a lot of paths for Cincy to cover. For Washington to cover.
Evan, I think you're down to Washington or the Patriots Thursday?
Yeah, and it's not the Giants or Denver because I can't find good things about Bo Nix or Daniel Jones in that sense. And if Bo Nix has to have some success this week when going up against Tampa's secondary, or he's never going to have success, and you might as well make the move. But for me, it's not the Giants, it's not Denver. And the Rams, San Francisco, like Stuck said, just way too hard of a cap for me with everyone injured. So it's Washington or New England, and it's probably Washington. I think Stuck's probably right. At the 7, New England felt fun. considering I don't know if the Jets are going to be able to blow them out. New England's playing way high over expectations. But yeah, I like that Washington. Assume Jaden Daniels has 3 total scores, and they figure out some way to keep it within 8.
Yeah, you could have some red zone regression too. I haven't liked their play calling. They can't really. The Giants Washington game was hilarious. Like Washington wins 21-18. So Washington finishes with 21 points on 7 field goals, and the Giants finished with 18 points on 3 touchdowns. Just a hilarious game. Yeah, what is the Bucs line sitting at right now?
7.
Oh God, I gotta play it.
Denver team total, like something to get you into the game other than the fact that they're covering, because Denver's got to score some points against the secondary.
Yeah, I've watched their offense. It looks bad. It is bad. But, and I wasn't a believer in Bo Nix. I will say you went to Seattle in your first start against the McDonald defense, and then you played the Steelers defense.
That's true.
So is there a little more juice there than what my eyes are telling me? Like, they should be able to at least run the ball more now. Like, the Bucs have injuries up front and secondary, which should help Nix. You're just going to need him. They need to get the run game going, because the only thing that's going to work is play action, short passes, moving the defender's eyes. Nix isn't going to be able to just drop back and throw the ball. So, man, I was hoping it didn't get to 7.
There's 6.5s now too, so you may have missed your chance. Or it gets back to 7. Denver team total this week, 16.5 points.
See, because then I think about that and I'm like, wait, how the hell is Denver going to get to 17 points?
Think about this with Nix. 77 pass attempts. It's like the 3rd most in the NFL this year. 50-plus pass attempts with 0 passing touchdowns and 4-plus picks. It's Bo Nix, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Will Grier, like Ryan Lindley. Those are the quarter rookies to do that through 2 starts. It has been but again, I didn't really think about the Seattle and Pittsburgh fact, and now he turns around against Tampa Bay. So it's now or never, kid.
Yeah.
Right. Especially, as Stuck said, with the banged-up secondary in Tampa. Yeah. Last one. Since playoffs expanded to 14 teams in 2020, 32 teams have started 0-2. Only 2 of those 32 have made the playoffs. Last year's Texans and the 2022 Cincinnati Bengals. Just 5 of the 32 finished with a winning record. You have 9 0-2 teams through 2 weeks this year. Rams, Panthers, Giants, Broncos, Jaguars, Titans, Colts, Ravens, Bengals. Quickly, Stuck, pick one to finish with a winning record, if you get a winning record, you're probably in the playoffs, maybe not. Winning record or to make the playoffs. So those 9 0-2s.
By the way, Vita Vea, too, a big loss for Tampa up front. That maybe help you get the run game going.
Big time.
I'll say Cincy. The funny thing is I bet Cincy to win the AFC North before the season started. And let's look at, anyone want to pull up, what is their current price to win the AFC North?
I got it right here. Let's see. Cincinnati plus 195.
Yeah. Hasn't even moved that much.
Baltimore plus 190.
Yeah, hasn't even moved that much, and they're 0-2, which is pretty funny. Because the Ravens are 0-2. The Browns are 1-1, and the market doesn't believe in the Steelers. Rightfully so. The Bengals do this every year. What are they? Everyone will probably know, 1-9 over the first 2 weeks over the past 5 years. Something like that. They start like 0-2 every year. Burrow usually has some injury that he's dealing with, and then he doesn't get work in the preseason, and it takes him some time to get ramped up. They need to address the defensive line somehow, like in the market. They need to get help there. But I do think that their safeties are much better. I think their corner situation is better than it was last year. Anarumo will be able to do a lot more with those safeties. I mean, look at the Chiefs game. It was a great game plan defensively. So they need to help. They need to address their run D, but the schedule's easy. They have a last place schedule. They, could have easily beat the Patriots.
Some bad luck in that game and the penalty at the end of the Kansas City game.
Yeah, they should have beat the Chiefs. Now the Ravens, you could argue, should also be 2-0, but they have issues and they have a much tougher schedule. So I'm going to go. The tiebreaker there is the schedule, and I'm going with the Bengals.
Evan, of the 9-0-2s, which one finishes with a winning record and or makes the playoffs?
Yeah, I'm with Cincinnati too. For me, it was Cincinnati or Tennessee. First, you got to win this week. So of those teams, I looked at Tennessee, Indy, Baltimore, and Cincinnati. All four could be 2-0, so it was enticing on that front. And again, Stuck said Baltimore's schedule is just way too difficult to be into this. So at Dallas, then you've got Buffalo in a night game, at Cincinnati, Washington, at Tampa, at Cleveland. It's just not easy overall. And I think that Cincinnati's is just a little bit easier coming up. So Washington at Carolina. Then you've got that Baltimore game at home at the Giants. So I do think that Cincinnati has a bit of an edge. And Tennessee, we talked about it before as we kind of like them in this game this week, but versus Denver, versus Green Bay, at Miami, by Indy, at Buffalo. So Tennessee could have a winning record through about 4, 5, 6 weeks. So to me, it's Tennessee or Cincinnati.
All right.
Tennessee has to take advantage of this. They could have been a sneaky wild card team. They should have beat the Bears. They should have beat the Jets. You're starting 2-0 because you had to take advantage of that. You got Caleb Williams in his first ever start. It was a disaster. You got the Jets on a short week. They did not look good. Instead of 2-0, you're 0-2. But if you were 2-0, guess what? Now you get the Packers without Love. Then you get the Dolphins without Tua. It was all there. Now they can still make a run and get into that wild card decision. But imagine the outlook if they were 2-0 as they should be, getting those breaks against the Packers and Dolphins coming up after those quarterback injuries. It was all setting up for to be a surprise team with that defense, but just couldn't get it done.
Well, just Will Levis throwing it backwards.
Yeah.
If they're 2-0, we're probably talking about why you might want to bet on Malik Willis and the Packers.
Yeah. Fortunately, maybe I'm well.
Yeah. See, this is what I mean. It's a group therapy session to pick it all apart and flush it all out. Stuck, thanks so much for joining us. You'll find Stuck, of course, this week on the Sunday Six Pack with Raybon. Big Bets on Campus, covering all things college football. Evan Abrams is our Director of Research and Media. His primer for Week 3 is out. We'll be out Wednesday. Coming your way midweek, your primer for Week 3, Action Network app, actionnetwork.com. My name is Brendan Glasheen. Thanks for tuning in to NFL Roundtable Week 3. We will talk to you again next Tuesday. See ya.